Alright, we got a new bike in the garage today. This is a 05 KX250F. We just picked it up for $700. Did something out of my way and went at nighttime, because that was the only time he had available. How you see it is exactly how I got it. Graphics kit in the pictures look terrible. On the bike, I kind of dig it, not gonna lie. The pictures were, they looked really dirty, but it's really not that bad. Aluminum frame. Probably, well, no, I was gonna say the newest bike I worked on, but it's not. But anyhow, it does come with everything. So we got the gas tank, we got the subframe airbox, stock exhaust header, and muffler. All the plastics here. Got the front shrouds, the seat, radiators, carburetor, engine parts, bolts, what up, you know, you name it. Then we've got the engine here. So he said the previous owner ran it low on coolant and it messed up the rings on the piston. So we're gonna look at that, because when I was there and I looked at it, I didn't really see any damage anywhere, but we're gonna check it out here in a minute. Looking here at the cylinder, kind of might be hard to see, but there is cross hatching in there. Alright, got my headlamp now. Cross hatching is still very good. No markings, no cracks, nothing wrong with the surface here or on the underside. Everything looks pretty much pristine on that. It's also cylinder works, so I know it's been rebuilt there. The crank is maybe stock crank, it looks like. They don't have any markings on it, so you know, there's a little bit of dirt down there on the crank. I'm not gonna mess with it too much more, so I can wipe that off. So with that being said, we'll look at the head now. I checked all this out while I was there. Really nothing to be worried about. Like, there's a little bit of marks, but they're just mark. There's no gouges or anything in it. So all that seems to be good. If we flip it over, zero damage there. So it's probably gonna be really hard to see, but that spark plug there, it is chocolatey brown. So I know it's running good when it runs. So we're gonna start looking at this engine here in just a second. My thought on this is it needs absolutely nothing to run. And with that, because, you know, I still may replace the piston, I'm not sure yet. Like, it's a Vertex top end. The Teflon piece, you know, wear places are still there. I mean, this side's a little bit more worn than this side, but they're still there nonetheless. It's got oil in the bottom end, so that's good. But yeah, we're probably just gonna pull this piston off, maybe, just to check and clean up down there. You see all that stuff? That's just a little bit of dirt that's fell in there from the ride. I don't want to move it too much and it really mess up. But yeah, I think it'll need absolutely nothing. We've got gaskets for it. Probably gonna have to buy a new set of gaskets, but you know, just to see if it'll start and run, you know, why not use the old ones? So let's get into this engine. So cam chain's good. I checked it while I was there. The oil looks really good, actually. Very clear. I'm really banking on this thing needing basically nothing. Obviously a gasket kit, but pretty much nothing. Cam guides look good, or the chain guides look good. But that means I don't have to take off, you know, the stator cover and whatnot. Yeah, rotating it all looks really good. And there's no up and down play in the crank. If I can get it to stay still here, there's nothing. The crank's spinning, but zero up and down play in the bearing. Come on, you're basically off. Oh, it's that screwdriver holding it in now. There's no play in it. So bottom end is good, and there's no markings on it. I mean, there's a number over here and a 4. But nothing that says like hot rods or anything like that. But it spins nice and free. Oil's a little green. Could be from coolant. Looks like there's a little bit of coolant in it now anyway. But I think the head gasket was also bad, but that might not have leaked down in here. Could be water pump seal. One thing I didn't check while I was there was the transmission, so we can go ahead and do that. That wouldn't be a bad thing to check, so try to shift it into first. Shifts into first, back up to neutral. There's a neutral. Go up to second. There's second, third, fourth, fifth, no sixth. So, seems good to me. Transmission feels relatively smooth. I mean, it's on the bench, so shouldn't be anything wrong with it anyway. I need to figure out if this is a 1 or 2 ring piston. If it's a 2 ring piston, we can try to throw this thing back together tonight. Or I mean, if it's a 1 ring piston, we can do that. If it's 2, gonna have to buy some stuff for it before we can check it out. Let me figure that out real quick before we move on. But I have high hopes for this build, even if we have to get a new top end for it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and replace it all. I was going to throw this together tonight, but I'll just go ahead and replace it all because it was within pretty much right on top of the service limit. Technically, it's still good, but we'll go ahead and replace it. So I've decided while we wait on some parts to get here, I'm just going to do some basic cleaning. I'm going to slap this engine together, like truly just slap it together. No gaskets, very loosely fitted, just so I don't get as much water, if any, into the bottom end itself. Again, more than likely going to do an oil change on it. It doesn't look terrible, but it did look like there was coolant in it. Go ahead and change it out anyway, but I'd still rather not have a lot of water in there if I can help it. But that's what I'm going to get to doing, and then I'll bring you back if I feel necessary. Just for extra protection, I am going to slap gaskets on it. I wasn't going to, but Kenzie made me feel bad. So I'll just go ahead and do that, I guess. Again, I'm not going to make it super tight. It's missing a dowel pin here and there, but again, right now it's not going to matter. We have parts. I opened this one yesterday because it came yesterday. This one came today. We should have everything to put this thing back together and have it running. Hoping I can do that by the time I go to work, but I've only got like an hour. So probably not going to happen, but we're going to see what we can get done. In this box is some tools that I can use for a few bikes, and then also a dowel pin. There it is. There's the dowel pin. And then there's all my tools and this, the oil filter. So I'll throw it in there. Alright, set those tools to the side. Here's our dowel pin. OEM dowel pin, because we were missing one. Alright, dude. Holy crap. I finally got it on. Jesus. Help us all. There we go. Perfect. It's finally on again. That was a freaking pain and a half. But it's on. But now I gotta go to work because that took way longer than it was supposed to. Now that we've got the piston and everything back in, we'll go ahead and work on the valve seals here. Just because the top end kit came with some, so we'll go ahead and replace those while we're apart. Alright, valve seals are done. So let's continue with getting all this rebuilt here. Why are you not on your dowel pin? There you go. Just watch your fingers, I'll get it in a second. all those are torqued down. So now we can move on to shimming it and timing it. And I actually saw that these are hot cams. That's close. I might be able to get one more tooth out of it. Alright. So that's going to be timed correctly as of now. So what we're going to do now is install the cam caps. These get torqued down to 87 inch-pounds or something like that. This is not a lot of pressure. That's 87 inch-pounds though. Necessarily. That one actually went in a little bit. It's not great. So they're probably a bit tight. Too tight. Too tight. So let me get those back in spec. We gotta take these off and re-shim them. Alright, we're timed, we're shimmed. Everything is in spec now. Before I throw this valve cover on, I'm actually going to cry because we're missing something here that I wasn't missing before. Never mind, it's on the bolt. Good. Okay, so no longer gonna cry, but we are gonna put a little bit of oil on all this. So maybe, oh, that was a bit much, but that way it's not totally dry. We got everything in the frame, engine, motor mounts, carburetor. So radiators are on and secured. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna change the oil filter and we're gonna throw the air filter in. Then I gotta run to the store and get some gas. And then we gotta throw the exhaust on. After that, we will be ready to try to start this bike tonight. I'm excited. Just pull it out like that. Alrighty. Let me grab another paper towel here so I can kind of inspect it, and then I'll show you. I think it's actually like really good. I don't think there's any metal in it. I don't see any. Let's clean out the inside here. No, I'm not seeing any metal, so that's good. Just a little bit of coolant, that's all. But we already knew that. Hoping the water pump's not bad. Hoping it was just tear down. He just kind of let it do whatever it wanted. But we'll go ahead and throw our new oil filter in. Slap it on up in there. And throw our oil cover back on. And we'll throw the air filter in, get some gas for it. We'll start this thing. Alright, we got gas in the tank. Gas is on at the petcock. We've got coolant in the radiators, oil in the engine. 99.9% sure all the electronics are hooked up. I did not check carburetor or spark. So we're gonna try to kick it over a couple times. Hopefully she starts. If she don't, that'll be my next step, but I'll do that tomorrow. So I've been kind of messing with this all day. Works. Getting a little something. Probably carburetor. Alright. I'll try to work on the carburetor a little bit tomorrow. So close. Alright, let's see what we got in the bowl here. Hopefully it's dirty and clogged. The accelerator pump does work. I don't know if you'll be able to... It's out of gas now. But I did actuate it and it did work. And that's not dirty, so that's a shame. I was hoping it was. That doesn't mean the jets aren't, but actually the jets might be dirty. Alright, let's check the main jet first. Just because that's the screwdriver that I got in my hand. Totally, maybe not totally clear, but it's clear. It's running a 172. I'm hoping this one's clogged, because it kind of should have started if it isn't. Please be clogged. I believe it's fully clogged. I can't see through it. So that's a good sign. Normally you don't want to see that, I guess, but in this case I want to see it. And there's another jet in here. I think that one's called the starter jet. I don't know. I normally don't mess with them, but I'm already in here, so I'm going to make sure it's clean. Yep, it's clear. So hopefully we're on the right track here. It'll just be the pilot jet that is clogged. We'll throw this bad mamma jamma back on the bike, and we'll have a running KX250F. Pilot jet's a 45, it looks like. Carburetor's back on. Gas is on. Choke is on. I'll pump the accelerator a couple times to get it warmed back up. This is the moment of truth. Hopefully she'll run here. I hear that clicking?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know, I'm hoping it's something loose. Whatever it is, it's not good. Hoping just something loose. It actually ran a little bit though, which was kind of cool. Yeah, I know. What did that rattling? I checked the timing. It looked like it was off one tooth on the intake. I put it back in time and I kicked it and it stayed running for a second, so I cut it off. So we'll see what happens together. I cut off, but that's the longest it's ran, and I don't hear it clicking nowhere near as much. I think this is vibrating now, but I'd say we're on a path to something great. So, you know, it kept cutting off. It will not run off choke, and when it does, it sounds like just a bunch of garbage metal. Pulled the top end back off. Nothing's wrong there. The oil's a little gray already. I don't know if it's just mixing with what was already in here that I drained out as best I could. But we're gonna go ahead and pull this whole cover off and just check in here, because it kind of sounded like this side was the issue, you know, from the metal clanking. We'll check the water pump best we can. I'm almost positive this whole shaft would come out together. That is some really good stuff.
Maybe I can get it for Dad for his birthday or something.
Alright. No! Yeah, so we got an issue. Apparently there's a brake lever hanging there, trying to ruin our gasket. No, the shaft ain't got no grooves in it.
No grooves in the shaft.
Nope. I did a little bit of investigating after we put it back together. Yeah, after we put it back together, it didn't run or anything like that anymore. And the kickstart was kind of hard to push down for some reason, right? It was kind of hard the first time, but it was a little bit harder this time. So I investigated the cams a little bit more because they did have burrs in them, just a little bit. But apparently, your cams are supposed to spin free with the caps on and torque down, and they don't. But what's it called? I deburred the exhaust side very gently, and now you can see it's torqued down and everything. And it barely moves, but that's just the tension of the cam chain. I started on the intake side here, but I didn't get finished with it, and this isn't even fully torqued down, and it doesn't move at all. So I got a little bit more, I guess what you would call sanding to do on this one, because there were, like I said, a little bit of burr on it, uneven surface, whatever. But after that, I think the kickstart will be a lot easier, and I think it'll run better and maybe not have an awful noise. So we'll see. Everything's back together. I sanded the journals and stuff down just a little bit more. And now with the choke on, she's a one-kick bike, or she was, because I kicked it twice and it started both times. We're on video now. It probably won't, but we'll find out. Choke off and it still dies. I still have to work on that, but at least it's running again and it sounds a lot better. So hoping we can get it figured out pretty soon. Alright, I'm bringing you back because my dad called because I was talking to him about it, and he said not to replace the water pump seal and drain the oil a couple times with just some cheap stuff, because maybe the head gasket was bad, and the head gasket that was on it was a little wore out. I didn't think about that, so we'll try that. Plus, I got it to idle with no choke after I let it sit for a minute and warm up a bit. If I can get it to start back, we'll see. I'll send it through a few heat cycles while I order some more parts. We'll do the oil draining to check if it's the head gasket or the water pump as we go along with that. But it's a running bike again, and we're only in it probably $950, I think, at the moment. I'm hoping to end this bike at like $1,200 total, if possible. I'll bring you back when parts come in. So this is after a few flushes. It's not really gray anymore. It's just like a darker oil color. We're gonna flush it one or two more times, and then we'll see. It's sat for several days. I've ran it, and it doesn't seem to be leaking any coolant. So hopefully, she'll be good here in a few. I don't remember where we left off, but I've cycled oil through the engine. I believe the water pump's going to be fine. It's not milky or anything, and I've let it sit for days on end, and I've ran it. Nothing's changed in the oil. I've drained it a few times. So we're going to replace this fuel screw. It's bent, and it didn't have the spring or anything for it. So I ordered one of these off Amazon. It, pretty much just a replacement, just black, but it didn't have the spring or the O-rings or anything for it either. So I sent it back, and this one just came in. So we'll install that here, possibly. Try to tilt the carb up a little bit, make it just a little bit easier. But and I noticed it because while it was running, it was vibrating out, just making it not run very good. So I was having trouble getting it in, so I went and looked at the reviews of it, and a lot of people were complaining that this small metal washer here was bigger than the threads. I took it off, and now it goes in perfect. So, you know, that's a shame. You know, it's good for a cheap buy, but honestly I'd get something better, because another complaint is these knobs are way too sharp, and they are. But I'm trying to keep cost low, so that's why we bought this one. But it's in now. I think I'm going to have to run to the store and get another bottle of oil. And then we can try to tune this bike up nice and good. We can order some more parts for it. So we ordered more parts last night, $205 worth. We got stuff for the forks, the rear suspension, chain and sprockets, grips, rear wheel spacers, because we've only got one, so we ordered a set of those. While we wait on everything to get here, we're going to go ahead and tear the forks apart and probably the rear shock, just to go ahead and have it apart and ready to fill back up and make sure nothing else is broken inside of here, because the last bike that I did, the 250F, the shock absorbers in here were broken, so hopefully that's not how these are in this one. Okay. All right, one fork down, one fork to go. That's the forks taken apart. Kenzie's over there cleaning the bottom of the forks where the wheel clamps in and where the brake caliper and everything goes. I'm gonna look here in just a second, because all the bikes that I've worked on have rubber bumpers here. These don't have rubber bumpers, and I'm assuming just from how they look, they're not gonna have any on the schematic, but if they do, we'll have to order some of those, but I'm assuming they don't have them. Big boy. It's coming off now. It's either loose or broken. One of the two. Looks to be loose. And broken. So, I took it out, and then I realized I made a mistake. I didn't loosen these. I guess we'll do it the old-fashioned hard way. See here how this is broken and just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's that bumper.
That's what we ordered?
And that's that $25 bumper. And this is what we're replacing that's leaking.
Mm-hmm.
I just punched myself in the face. we got the shock apart. That's cool. Yay. Yay for us. Ouch for my face. Got the bladder here. I'm pretty sure it's fine. There's nothing, there's no liquid in it, so it's good. Got the snap ring for it. Got the rings for this. I'll clean the desk off and wait on parts now. I mean, that's all we got. It's all back together, and I have not started it. Brand new chain of sprockets, as you saw. Coolant's good. Brand new oil. No more coolant leaked out, so I'm assuming it was just whatever was left in there from whenever I guess they tore it down or whatever. I don't know. But I haven't tried to start it since then. So I gave it a quick spray down to check for leaks here once we started. So hopefully. Go ahead and make your guesstimation on kicks now. I'm going to say 2. Is it? Okay, 3.
3.
Could have just said that. Almost 1. Almost 1. That's crazy, cuz. Not even 2. 3 kicks it is? Nope, not 3 kicks for Kinsley. Where's my foot? Probably just needs a carb clean. Go ahead and sell it. Alright. Cleaned the carburetor. Took it apart. And the pilot jet was clogged. So, it should run now. Hopefully. With this 1 kick here. You need your headphones?
Yeah.
Better hurry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not ready for no choke. Yikes. What if it's too lean? So the hydraulic clutch here didn't work. I don't know if I ever said that it had one. And then I pulled this cap off and it's all crystallized goo. So I'm gonna get this fixed. It does idle now. I'll show you that here in a few, but we gotta get this mess worked out so we can actually ride this bike. Here we are, guys. We're gonna be finishing up this video here. So I could never get the hydraulic clutch lever to bleed properly. The actuator would never move. Don't know why. I've worked on it for a couple days. Couldn't get it to do anything. So I had this perch from another order back in the day. So I threw that on there. Had to buy a cable for it. But it works. I went ahead and put the grips on. And I had to tune the carburetor a little bit. You know, it was kind of sputtering. I ended up dropping the needle down and I think raising the main jet, making everything a little bit richer on the top end. And she's been running good since. So let's take this bike out, turn the gas on, chokes on. It's been a one-kick bike here recently. Hopefully it'll keep it up today and not make me look stupid. Looky there. One kick. So we'll let her warm up real quick and then we'll ride her around the yard. So this build went pretty good actually, all things considered. I think we're just over my budget. I haven't added in the last set of oil that I put in this bike, and a bolt that I had to buy, plus whatever it cost me to take it to where we're going to do the dirt dive. I'm actually going to go there after this video, or after I get done recording this here. That way I can really put it through its paces. And then, about slid out. I was trying to drag the brake a little bit, but that ended up not working for me. But right now, we're at 11 and some change. Oil was $20. That nut was like $7 because I had to get it directly from the Honda shop. And then I think the entry fee is going to be $15 to $25, somewhere right in there. So I would say we're probably at about $12.50 or just under. And she's ripping hard, man. Like whenever I first tried it to make sure the carburetor was right before I did this ride video here, it fell flat on its face. It was so bad. But after I adjusted the carburetor, it runs better, or basically the same as the YZ250 that we did. But it ran totally like garbage before. But sounds good, stock exhaust, plenty of power. So far, handles good. Like I said, dirt dive is going to be what tells us a lot. I'm actually really impressed with this bike, low-key. One thing I don't like is the drain or the oil fill place over here. You pour directly onto the clutch basket, so if you pour too fast, it just overflows and it's kind of garbage. Let's see if I can't do a wheelie on it. Nope, guess not. Oh man, I guess I'm just scared to wreck it because I've been able to wheelie all the other ones in second. Like I said, I'm probably just scared to wreck it, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna try again obviously, but that's the biggest complaint I have on that so far. The stator side, I dropped one of the retaining clips for the cam bearings down in the case, and so I was like, alright, well I guess I gotta pull a flywheel. Lo and behold, Kawasaki made a good decision and didn't have it that style where you had to pull the flywheel off. It came up a little bit, but it was just laying right there at the bottom, so luckily I was able to just pull it out. That is, I like that, so it's pretty sweet. But yeah, power wise, it's a pretty banging bike. Sounds good, runs great. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here in just a second so I can get this dirt dive on the road here, because we got a little bit of a drive to get there. I believe it's probably about 30 to 45 minutes. Let's try to get one more wheelie in. I don't know if I'll be able to or not. Try to clutch it up a little bit, not too bad. But yeah, stay tuned. I got a tutorial coming for valve seals. I got this build video that you're watching now, and then I've got the dirt dive coming for this bike soon, probably within a month, because that's kind of how I space my videos out at the moment. Alright, well, no! Alright, we'll just do it like that then. I space my videos out one every month, just because sometimes it takes me a little bit to work on these because of work and all that. You know, I got a full-time job and whatnot, but yeah, this one didn't take too long, all things considering. Longest thing was not really working on it too much on the days that I actually work, and what's it called, and waiting on parts. But all around a good bike. I have another project in there. Got 2 projects in there that I can't tell you about right now, but you'll see them soon enough. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.